Welcome to my presentation for the second annual University Doctoral Research Poster Session. My name is Dr. Susan Strickland, and my ADP project focused on creating a leadership development program for nurse leaders to address the problem of burnout in healthcare. I am originally from the UK. I was born in Yorkshire, which is in the northeast of the country, and grew up in the coastal town of Redcar. I completed my undergraduate studies at the University of Leeds, where I achieved my Bachelor's of Education. I also attended nursing school and became qualified as a registered nurse. I was able to come to the United States in 1991 and continue my career. I also went back to school and got my Master's of Science in Nursing Education from California State University, Los Angeles. I started my PsyD journey in 2014, and I really want to thank everyone who has helped me along the way in that wonderful journey, culminating in graduating this year. During my 34 years in healthcare, I have become increasingly interested in the psychological aspects of the job and the emotional demands that the work places on us as workers within this system. When I was looking for topics and areas of research for my ADP, this is what led me to eventually choose burnout as my topic. Understanding that healthcare is considered to be one of the top 6 most stressful occupations is very important in this context. Organizational factors present in the healthcare work environment have been identified as causes of chronic stress that is believed to eventually result in burnout. Often, healthcare employees focus their attention on others and the problems of others, and at the expense of their own feelings, again leading to the problem of burnout. The term burnout was first introduced as a concept by psychologist Herbert Freudenberger in the 1970s. He used this term to describe the long-term unresolvable job stress he was noting in his co-workers and eventually in himself. He characterized the concept by a set of observable symptoms such as exhaustion, which he believed occurred because of excessive work demands. He also noticed physical symptoms occurring, such as headaches, insomnia, and irritability. Along with these symptoms, he also noticed there was a growing sense of boredom and cynicism. He also noticed that the staff were starting to feel unappreciated and undervalued, which was all leading to a sense of depression and lack of energy within his clinic. The project intent can be defined in terms of short and long-term expectations. The short-term intent of the program is to provide education on the topic of burnout and to increase awareness. The long-term intent of the program is to provide nurse leaders with ongoing educational support to continue responding to and managing the problem of burnout. The utilization of a training program such as this one is supported by studies that investigated the efficacy of interventions for burnout in nurses, citing the need for nurses to practice self-care strategies and to increase their personal knowledge and awareness of burnout. Development programs that highlight the need for self-care and developing effective coping skills can be one of the most effective strategies to combat stress and burnout in the workplace. So participants in this leadership program will be facilitated to further examine and explore the impact of burnout and work on addressing potential strategies to combat a problem that the healthcare industry has struggled with for many years. At the end of both days 1 and 2, participants will be offered an opportunity to evaluate the contents and experience of attending the program. The purpose of this evaluation is to score the effectiveness of the teaching strategies and the expertise of the facilitator. It will also be a method of discovering which of the topics were felt to be of most relevance. At the conclusion of the program on day 3, participants will also have the opportunity to complete an extensive review of the program overall. This final survey is designed to measure the impact of the program overall, and is designed to measure the impact of the program on nursing leadership's ability to manage burnout in themselves, their colleagues, and their teams. The validation will therefore be focused on the utility aspects of the program, its relevance to current healthcare environment, and its practical value for the organization. The evaluation follows the Kirkpatrick model and addresses all 4 levels. The purpose of the project was to create a leadership development program that addresses nurse leaders' ability to effectively deal with burnout in themselves, their colleagues, and their employees, and on enhancing nurse leaders' knowledge, awareness, and understanding of burnout. Using this premise, it was important to review the existing literature and research to examine previous studies on burnout, since Freudenberger first introduced the concept to today, when multiple assessment tools have been developed to measure both impact and awareness. Substantial research material was found related to burnout, stress, and compassion fatigue in direct patient care, but far fewer studies were found that considered the incidence and consequence of burnout in nursing leadership. This discovery formed the basis of the project. Existing research had examined the role that leaders play in the process of burnout developing in staff and how leaders' behavior affects others, but scant research had focused on the problem of burnout amongst the nurse leaders themselves. In designing the curriculum and considering the topics for inclusion, it was also important to do a literature review and find topics that were backed by studies that showed the connection between burnout and, for example, emotional intelligence and organizational change, the work environment. Any of those studies that showed that connection between burnout were useful topics to examine and include in the curriculum. The following slides provide an overview of the program and some of the advertising materials that will be used to publicize the event. There is a course description, there is a program goal, the target audience, and further information available. Listed here are the agendas for both days 1 and 2, with an overview of the topics and various activities that will be covered throughout the day. At the end of day 2, an assignment was given to the participants to continue working with their assigned groups and teams to create posters that would be presented on day 3. The purpose of these posters is to provide a visual representation of the work being done in the organization by these participants to address the problem of burnout. The presenters should have before and after intervention data to support their selected strategies and be prepared to answer questions on their work from the larger group. The Day 3 agenda listed here will allow for additional topics to be introduced, and the participants will have an opportunity to update their colleagues on the work that they have been doing during this time with the issue of burnout and what has been successful in terms of strategies with their teams since they last met. During the program, the participants will be introduced to 2 validated assessment tools. The first of these being the Maslach Burnout Inventory, the purpose of which is to discover how various people working in human services or the helping professions like nursing view their job and the people with whom they work closely. This tool will be used initially as a self-assessment, but then the results will be compiled into a group report which will be discussed on day 3. The second survey that will be introduced is the Professional Quality of Life Survey, the ProQual. This is one of the most utilized tools to assess the impact of both the negative and positive effects of helping and caring for others. Participants will first complete this as a self-assessment, and then the results will be shared and discussed in a small group activity. One of the advantages of using this tool is it makes a distinction between burnout, compassion fatigue, and secondary trauma. The pretest design is based on the curriculum items to be covered during the leadership program to evaluate the impact of the training program on the nurse leader's knowledge and understanding of the concept of burnout and its effects. The purpose of the pretest is to collect a baseline summary of the knowledge and understanding of burnout of that participant group. The post-test, given at the end of day 2, consists of the same 20 questions asked during the pretest from the beginning of the program. The results of both tests will be collected and further analyzed to measure whether the program has enhanced the knowledge of burnout in the participants. In summary, the purpose of this ADP was to design a leadership development program for nurse leaders that provides research-based strategies to combat the issue of burnout in healthcare leaders, management teams, and employees. The curriculum outline was designed to address the issue of burnout, which has been a problem in healthcare for many years and has resulted in attrition and loss of high-achieving individuals to the profession, which has serious consequences for both patient safety and staff mental health. I would like to end by quoting Florence Nightingale. To love, that is to help one another, to strive together, to act together, to work to the same end.